What's up, everybody? I'm Jeremy, and you're watching Morphs. This week's video, folks, breeding season is upon us. It's time to start to get ready, guys. Figure things out. Make sure you got everything that you need ready to go. So let's go over some of the things you maybe need to start thinking about with breeding season right around the corner. Let's go ahead and dive on into this. So before we go ahead and dive into this, do me a favor first, folks. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Drop me a comment down below. What do you think about this list? These basically the main things you need to make sure that you have the boxes checked, I's dotted, T's crossed, all that good stuff. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And if there's something that you think I missed that I should have added. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and start getting you guys ready. Make sure you check out Nathan at Infinite Possible Pythons. He is your guy to go to if you want to get into the Bang project. On top of it, he's working a bunch of awesome ball python projects. Kahua geckos, Leachianus geckos, crested geckos, some scaleless corn snakes, and he is your one-stop shop for all your branding needs. So check him out. Check out Chris Shelley over at S Reptilia if you need a high-end ball python, blood python, locality boa, or colubrid. He's also Pennsylvania's distributor of Coco to Go and the Chipper, and he can also hook you up with some rats. So make sure you guys check out Chris over at S Reptilia. All right, first things first. Make sure you guys have an incubator or whatever you're going to use to put the eggs in from your breeding. I mean, now this won't apply if you're doing stuff that's like boas, stuff like that, where they do give live birth. So this won't apply to you in that aspect. But if you're doing anything with any species that does lay eggs, specifically ball pythons, carpet pythons, you know, this is what you guys need to make sure you got. This is one of the things you need to make sure you have. Make sure it's running, operational, works flawlessly, no issues. You know, put it through a test run, fire it up. I would say several weeks in advance. Give it a good test run. Make sure it works. Make sure, you know, you've got all the fans work, all the heating works properly. You know, make sure that thermostat levels out and stays consistent. Just make sure everything functions flawlessly. So that way when you put those eggs in there, you don't have any issues. That's the one thing that I fear most for myself and anybody else, is that they have an incubation issue, lose the clutch, or clutches, God forbid. That would just be catastrophic. I can't, you know, I've heard of people having that happen, and I just can't imagine that. Like, that would just totally, that would suck. Like, there's no other way to put it. That would suck. So make sure you guys have your incubator up, running, operational weeks, maybe even months before, just in case you have to order new fans or something like that. Make sure you have backup pieces for your incubator, like backup heat tape, backup fans, backup probe for your thermostat, backup thermostat even, or at least a way to plug another thermostat in case the one that's running the incubator does in fact fail. Make sure you guys have all that stuff figured out. Also, make sure you guys have your egg boxes ready. Make sure you have your substrate if you're using a substrate like perlite. I've personally started to use the Orbeez. I love it, guys. I need to actually do a video on that. Need to do a video going over the Orbeez method because I did a full season on it. Awesome, great success, love it. You can also do it the easier way and just do it right over water, because if you're doing egg trays, like the dragon hatch trays and stuff like that, you don't even need a substrate in there. You can just do it right over the water. Just make sure the water level is low enough so you don't end up having the eggs actually sitting in water. That would not be good. So you could even do it just water. You know, you don't even need the Orbeez or the perlite or anything like that. But that's personally up to you. I like the Orbeez. It's just a little peace of mind. It's a placebo, basically. Yeah, basically a placebo. So yeah, make sure you guys have that stuff figured out. You know, your substrate ready, your egg trays. Make sure you have enough of those. Make sure you got enough egg tubs. Just make sure you've got everything you need to keep you covered through the incubation process. And also make sure you guys, like I said, have enough egg boxes, because you might get slammed. You might not think, hey, all these clutches won't come at once, and they might stack up really quick, and you think, crap, I wasn't ready for this. So just make sure you've got extra of everything, so that way you're covered. No harm in having extra. Stop wasting time trying to prove out animals or taking chances on possible hets
or genes you don't know that are there. Head on over to Charlie at Gray Rider Reptiles and ShedTesting.com for all of your shed testing needs. He's fast, accurate, and adding new tests on a regular basis. So head on over to ShedTesting.com and check him out. Make sure to use the code CARPET15 for 15% off of your shed test order. Use nothing but the best at ShedTesting.com.
All right, this one is a very important one. Actually, they're all important. But anyway, rack space. If you're breeding, more than likely, you're using racks. I mean, you might not be. I don't want to lump, assume. You know what they say about assuming. But normally, most people that are breeding are doing it in rack systems or keeping multiple, babies. If you're producing clutches, you're going to have multiple babies. Normally, you're putting those into a rack system. Make sure you have planned for the appropriate amount of hatchings that you're expecting. Now, rule of thumb, average, I would say you get 70% of what you pair should go. Plan on 100%, guys. I would much rather err on this high side than think, the likelihood of hitting that is, slim to none. And then you do it and you're not prepared and you're in a pinch and you screw yourself. That is not what you want to be doing. You don't want to be put in that situation because you could sacrifice care of the babies. Like, you can just get yourself into a whole mess. Trying to order racks last minute, buying racks that you aren't exactly happy with because it's just what you have, what's accessible right then, there, and now. Plan. Make sure you are, make sure you just have enough tub space or empty space, period, for that babies that you're expecting. On average, say your average ball python, 6 to 10 eggs. On average. You're going to have lower, you're going to have higher. 6 to 10 eggs on average. Carpets, God, the sky's the limit with that. So just make sure you are prepared for some of those bigger clutches. And, like I said, give yourself a little bit of breathing room. Aim high. It's simple, it's easy, guys. Just make sure you guys have enough rack space. I know this year, for 2024, a hard lesson learned. I got myself into a little bit of a pinch because I knew I was expecting a lot of babies. And everything would have worked out just right without me purchasing the Mini 130. But thankfully, I did purchase the Mini 130. And it gave me just all the breathing room in the world that I needed. But having 2 carpet clutches really, really, really put me like right there, man. I was like right there, just about overwhelmed with babies and stuff. So, lesson learned. Like I'm telling you guys, make sure you guys have enough space. Plan for more than what you actually are expecting because it could happen. You could have a clutch that's just out of this. You could have a couple clutches that just break the odds as far as size. So just make sure you're ready for it. The next thing, go through ultrasound the next thing would be go through and ultrasound all of the females you're planning on breeding. That's now if you might be saying, Jeremy, I don't have an ultrasound. See if there isn't a breeder nearby that does have one that wouldn't mind helping you. Even if you've got to throw them a couple of bucks just for their time and the use of their machine. Do it. It's worth it. What little bit it will cost you to do that. And the chances are the breeder will probably do it free of charge anyway. But you can still throw them a couple of bucks for their time. But anyway, it's going to more than make up for it with the knowledge you're going to get out of that. Now, you can also do the palpating thing, the palpating method. Got a video going over that as well on the channel. I think it's in the breeding, should be in the breeding series, so go check it. I'll try to remember to put it in one of these corners. Chances are I'll probably forget to put it in one of the corners up. But anyway, look for that video in the breeding series. It does go over palpating, what to feel for, all that stuff.
Head on over to Triforce Morphs if you're looking for that missing piece in your ball python breeding project. While you're there, add a little bit of laser citron to the mix, folks. John and Christine can also hook you up with the crested gecko, so don't forget that. Turn up the heat with Triforce Morphs. If you want to use the best reptile record keeping and tracking software on the market today, scan the QR code or click our partnership link in the description down below for a free 30-day trial of Husbandry Pro. I promise you, you will not regret it.
You can also just look for different behaviors. If their females are hanging on the cold side a lot more, bowl wrapping, just acting out of the ordinary, probably breeding behavior, they're probably starting to build follicles. But that ultrasound, if you can swing it, if you have one, make sure you guys start ultrasounding once a month. Getting close to that breeding season. Here, I'm breeding all year long, so I'm ultrasounding once a month religiously. Just that way I know where every female's at, and I know when to throw that male to that female. Helps me also make better use of the males. But going through an ultrasounding before the, I'm going to say the main breeding season that everybody, you know, considers basically coming into these winter months here. Go through, ultrasound every female. If you have Husbandry Pro, track that in your Husbandry Pro, guys. I don't know if you're watching this and you're not using Husbandry Pro, there's a link in the description down below. Click it and use code WARFLES60. Get that 60 days free trial. There's also videos on here going over how to set it up, all that good stuff. So use it. Enter in that follicle data. It'll put it into your breeding plan. If you have your breeding plan set up, you can go through your breeding plan and it will show you where all of your females are at, follicle size, especially, you know, along with going to linking them to the male that they're being paired with as well. But that data is just, that's what you need to know. Because if you might have a female that's not quite ready yet and you're throwing a male to her, and it's just kind of using, you know, putting stress and use on that male, and she's not even ready yet. Ultrasound, highly recommended. You know, I recommend pairing around 12 to 13 millimeter follicles. Then I do another 20, and I do one about 25, 30 mil. And normally it's I only try to do just those three. Now, for a first-time female, I might throw a male in there one more time extra, you know, in the earlier stages, just to kind of get that, just to kind of get her sparked up, really get her amped up and wanting to go. But that's just kind of like that's just what I do. Doesn't have to be what you do, but I do strongly suggest ultrasound once a month. You know, you might have a female pop up and start going that you didn't expect to see go. You'll also know if a female is going to go. You know, by doing that, you can track the follicle size, and you'll also know if a female is going backwards and reabsorbing. Important stuff to know. Because if she's going backwards, there's no point in pairing her anymore. So don't even bother using that male. Ultrasound, guys. Once a month, I recommend. And like I said, just go through, do all the females, keep tabs on where they're at. And because that one that does reabsorb might start building up the other line of follicles. It wouldn't be the first time I've heard of that. Also, you know, it might be a couple months later, and then they'll start building again. You just never know, guys. It's Mother Nature. Ultrasound, ultrasound, ultrasound.
Are you ready to take it to the next level? Then check out DTMG Pythons. Danny is best known for his awesome clown ball python projects. This year's focus is Confusion, Hurricane, and Disco Inferno clowns. He also specializes in high-end crested gecko morphs such as Exantic, Lily White, and Exantic Lily Whites, along with the Deadpool line of gargoyle geckos. Check out his morph market and Instagram, DTMG Pythons. Just buy it.
Now, the last thing, probably the most important thing, your pairings. You need to think about your pairings. And especially with how the market is right now here in 2024 going into 2025, you don't want to make a lot of the same crap that everybody else is making. Why? Because it makes it harder to move. Then you start getting these people, oh, the market's dead. It's because you made the same stuff that all 1,000 other breeders made. It doesn't make you stand apart. So try, you know, one, breed what you want to breed. Definitely breed stuff that you want to breed, you know, breed for what you want to make the whole back. Try not to make the same byproduct as what everybody else is. You know, it's going to be hard to do. I get it. But, you know, just kind of like, how do I want to put it? Just try not to go and follow suit with everybody else. Do what you want to do. Hopefully you don't make the same byproduct that everybody else is making. Or what byproduct you do make. Hopefully you're doing some really awesome genetic packed pairings, and that byproduct is very desirable by other breeders and or people coming into the hobby. So keep that in mind. Also, with the pairings, you know, think about making those double recessives, those triple recessives, or even the double and triple hets genetically packed. Think long and hard about your pairings. Make up a breeding sheet, Husbandry Pro again. Use the breeding planner on that as well. You've got to mark this stuff down, guys. You need to find a place to put it down. That way you don't forget. Help record all that stuff. Figuring out those pairings, figure them out. You probably should actually have them figured out way before now, before this video is even coming out. I normally have my stuff figured out, or at least a rough figure, several months before I'm even thinking about breeding for the next breeding season. Now, that being said, I am already breeding for 2025. And like I said, I've had my pairings figured out for, say, the past 2 or 3 months. So I like to be a little bit of ahead. That way, if I need to tweak a little bit, which that's another nice thing about writing it down, keeping track of everything. If you write it down and you need to tweak it, and you know how to tweak it, because if you're like me, you're very visual. Seeing it makes all the difference. But that being said, though, like I said, you know, figure out your projects, get them laid out. Big thing, have a backup plan. Have that backup male. Make sure you've got a backup male for every project. That way, in case male A isn't doing his job, you can throw a male B in there. Yeah, you might not accomplish the same thing exactly that you wanted to do with male A. You still end up moving your project ahead with male B. Who knows? Maybe you might have the exact identical thing for male B, and that's perfect, because then there's no, you know, you are guaranteed to, you know, be moving the project ahead. But just make sure you guys have a backup plan. I don't know how many. It's been, say, there's probably been 2 years now. I've had to use a backup plan just to make sure the deal was sealed, and it paid off. Backup plan, guys. Plan your pairings out. Have them figured out months ahead. By this point, figure them out now. But like I said, also, you know, sit back, look at them after you have them down, because once you've got them written down, you're going to think, all right, I'm done. If you don't sit there and look at them, you'll never know where you screwed up. There were a couple pairings for this season that, you know, I did my breeding plan. Thought, all right, this is, boom, everything's done. We're good. I sat back, I looked at it, and there was a couple of things like, well, why in the hell did I throw that male to that female? But if I would have thrown this male, I could have went for visuals that are 100% het for one thing, pos het for another, and then just test out for that pos het. So what did I do? I went back and I changed it, because I wanted to keep doing stuff that's going to keep moving me forward. So what you guys need to do with your breeding plans, make sure you're doing pairings that are moving your projects forward. Don't go with just making, I mean, yeah, you can go and breed and make just pretty stuff. You know, I do that for some stuff just for basically show purposes. But the majority of the pairings that I do, like I'm going to say 98% of the pairings that I do, because I do like 1 or 2 pairings, like bell stuff. I do a couple banana clutches just to, everybody loves bananas, everybody loves bells. Just to be able to hit that market just a little bit for my customers. But everything else is just solely focused on moving my projects forward. You guys all know that's Exantic stuff. So, you know, I'm focused that everything I'm doing is either in one way, shape, or form tying into Exantic, moving that Exantic project forward. Also, you know, thinking ahead 3, 4, 5 years in advance. If I do these pairings, that allows me, if I hit the odds moving forward, I can then pull from this side of my Exantic project and combine the 2 projects. So you guys start thinking pairings that, you know, even like long-term pairings that you don't even think you should be thinking about. Be thinking about that long game, because that long game is what determines now. You know, where you want to be 5, 10 years with your pairings in your project determines what you need to do right now for your breeding season. So think about all that stuff, guys. Greatly appreciate you all sitting here with me, listening to me ramble and babble. Didn't really know what I was going to do for this week's video, I'm not going to lie. And then I got to think, it's like, you know what? Breeding season is upon us. I'm in it. but it's a pond, you know, it's about ready to start up for almost a lot of other people. So I greatly appreciate all the love and support, everybody. Go through. If you need to rewatch this, rewatch it. Remember, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Drop me a comment down below. Did I forget something? Should I have mentioned something? What are your thoughts? Let me know. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Let me know how you guys look at it. Like, I would love to hear some other aspects of how you go about, you know, getting ready for your breeding season. Also, don't forget, guys, go ahead, check out the channel members. Greatly appreciate all their love and support. Also, check out the channel sponsors. Can't forget them. Gotta show love to the channel sponsors. Make sure you guys go ahead, use the code CARPET15. Get that 15% off of your shed test order from Charlie over at shedtesting.com. Warful60, use that code for Husbandry Pro, guys. Get that 60-day free trial. Perfect example of with breeding season coming up. Get it. Use that breeding plan that's on there. It will save you so much of a headache. If you have questions, watch the video I have going over setting up your Husbandry Pro. Give it a shot. I would be surprised if you regret it. But use that code. Link for that is in the description as well. Go ahead, check it out. I greatly appreciate y'all giving it a shot. Also appreciate all your love and support. That's going to be it, guys. I hope you all have an awesome rest of the week. I will catch you next week. Later.